Brace yourself for a boozy, bloody, belly laugh ride. When moonshine distiller Earl Two Fingers Thompson loses his last drop of profit-making hooch, he and his best pals, ex-biker gadgeteer Rusty McCoy and PR whiz Glory Jenkins, hit go live on a ghost-hungry hootenanny at the Stansbury Cabin. But the cabin's former owner, an undead moonshiner from 1912, crashes the party with a devilish deal: 2 souls for an eternal supply of real haunted moonshine. Expect feathers flying as they down ghost-distilled hooch that bites back, face off against a top-hat-wearing specter with a whiskey-soaked grin, trade souls like poker chips in a paranormal poker game, dodge government agents, 2 rival Stansburys, and their own worst impulses. By midnight, they'll learn there's no such thing as a free spirit, and that the perfect shot comes with a wicked twist. So pour yourself a stiff one and settle in. This cabin's spirits are on tap, and they're serving scares, snorts, and shotgun weddings. You'll never look at moonshine the same way again. Chapter 1: The Last Batch. It all started with a busted still and a really bad idea. Earl Two Fingers Thompson inherited his family's moonshine business, Minigat Moonshine, from his grandpappy, alongside debts, bad plumbing, and a reputation for making shine so lethal it could peel wallpaper through concrete walls. Now in his mid-30s, Earl was down to his last gallon of hooch, a batch so potent that 1 swig could kill a bear at 50 paces. His 2 best friends, Rusty McCoy, a tattooed ex-biker turned amateur mixologist, and Glory Jenkins, a corporate escapee with a talent for marketing slogans, gathered in Earl's cramped basement to nurse the dregs.
You ready for this?
"Boys, this is our swan song," Glory announced, clutching the last pint. "This batch is so hot it'll blow up YouTube, if anyone survives long enough to post it."
Rusty belched, knocking over a mason jar and splashing whiskey on Earl's poster of Bigfoot wearing sunglasses.
Or we tank after 1 taste and die on camera. #natural selection.
Earl grimaced, eyeing the dusty bookshelf lined with prank-filled contraptions. "We need something big, viral big, to save Minigat. I heard about that Stansbury cabin up in Hollow Rock. Locals say it's haunted by Old Man Stansbury's ghost. He died distilling in there back in 1912. Glory snapped her fingers. "Ooh, Ghost Moonshine live stream. We camp out, scare ourselves half to death, and maybe snag a few paranormal pulls of genuine haunted moonshine." Rusty grinned.
I call dibs on scaring Glory when she's least expecting it.
He flexed his biceps.
And I brought my flamethrower lighter.
Exactly 1 week later, they rolled up to the rickety cabin on Glory's rental SUV, tastefully decorated with glow-in-the-dark skull decals and a hand-painted sign that read, "Minigat Moonshine's Paranormal Pull-a-thon Live." They set up antique lanterns, a dozen phone cameras, 3 generators, and Rusty's flamethrower lighter for atmospheric scares. Earl insisted on calling it a lighter. Rusty refused to admit it was a blowtorch. Glory taped a "subscribe" poster across the main door, while Earl finagled the still inside, hooking it up to red hoses and a haunted, read cobweb-covered mash vat inherited from his grandpappy. By 11 p.m., their studio was ready, cameras pointed at creaking floorboards, crevices in the ceiling, and one hilariously positioned tripod filming the back of Rachel Slaughter's head as she sniffed ghostly cobwebs. Rachel, a local influencer famous for 30-day yoga challenges and cola-only diets, had joined for exposure and definitely wasn't regretting wearing her favorite white romper. Welcome, ghouls and boys. Gloria addressed the cameras, masterfully balancing camp and confidence. We're live. Any spirits out there? Give us a shout. Silence followed, broken only by Glory's echoing voice and the awkward squeak of Earl dropping a mason jar.
Rusty leaned into his camera. I promise you'll see a glow-in-the-dark ghost in action. Or I'll drink his entire batch myself. He held up the jar of neon green mash. Your choice, folks. 5 minutes passed with nothing but drone of generators. Then Earl, fiddling with a smoked glass condenser, slipped on a loose plank and plunged through the floorboards with an O-face that went viral before he even hit the dirt. Miraculously unhurt, Earl emerged from the hole clutching a broken bottle of haunted mash that sizzled and fizzed on the wood floor. That's our ghost, he wheezed, carrying the bottle to Glory. Tastes like prison cell cocktails. He braced himself, took a sip, and nearly spit it out. It's terrifying. A sudden tug on the red hose behind them sent the second still toppling. Rusty screamed and ran as the still's boiler rattled to life, spewing hot steam. Glory yelped, practically diving over Rachel in her panic. In the chaos, Earl's leftover mash splashed onto the generator, igniting a fiery geyser that lit up the clearing with hellfire and shadows. Rusty grabbed the flamethrower lighter and burst into maniacal laughter. Now that's what I call a show. The cameras caught every moment. Earl's terrified face, Rachel's viral-worthy shriek, Glory's stiletto heel sticking out a floorboard. The fiery eruption blasted sparks into the night like ghostly fireworks. Then, above their panicked yells and the hiss of escaping steam, came a deep chuckle. Not human, guttural, echoing off the cabin walls. Every pair of eyes snapped upward. The dark rafters shifted, and a tall, translucent figure in tattered overalls and a top hat drifted into view. Old Man Stansbury himself, eyes glowing like coals, and a crooked grin frozen on his phantom face.
He's here!
The group froze, cameras rolling.
I know it!
Did we just summon the ghost of Moonshine past? Glory whispered. Stansbury's grin widened. Y'all got the mash right, but you forgot the secret ingredient. His voice was gravel and whiskey. The ghost drifted down, passed through the boiler, and filled the air with the scent of rot gut and rye. You want real haunted hooch? You've got to pay the toll. He tapped his spectral watch. Midnight's nearly up. Earl gulped. The toll is what? The specter's grin stretched impossibly wider. 2 shots of your soul. The moonlit night crackled with laughter and terror. The cameras captured it all. The laughter, the fear, the first promised pull of real haunted moonshine. And just like that, the paranormal pull-a-thon was off to a terrifyingly hilarious start. Chapter 2: Shots and Thoughts of Terror. Earl Two Fingers Thompson blinked at Old Man Stansbury's phantom grin, then at his rifle-braced friends. The ghost's demand, 2 shots of your soul, floated in the moonlit cabin, mixing with hissing steam and drone of generators. Rusty McCoy, flamethrower lighter in hand, swallowed. You want what now? The ghost drifted closer, top hat glowing. Spirits of the dead ain't fond of chasers. You reckon you've got the guts for real moonshine, tasting that eternal mash? Pay the toll with your soul. He tapped a tarnished pocket watch. Time's ticking down to midnight. Glory Jenkins stepped forward, voice quivering with bravado.
So, we drink it and our souls get borrowed? Then we're ghosts? Or followers, Stansbury whispered, eyes burning. Distilling in a house of bones. Rachel Slaughter whimpered in the corner, phone forgotten in her hand. The live stream viewers soared past 20,000. Earl, Glory said, looking to their host, you got any non-eternal mash? Earl checked the still. The mash vat bubbled with neon green liquor that smelled like smoldering hay and old socks. This is the last batch, he said. Genuine Stansbury recipe, worth more than gold round here. Stansbury's grin grew fiendish. Gold? I've seen distillers hung for less mischief. But me, I just tangle souls in my jars. Hurry now, midnight's close. Tom Bradley, longtime friend and local sawmill owner, cleared his throat. Perhaps a bargain, sir, Mr. Stansbury. 2 souls now, and we'll give you the still. Stansbury's hat shot upward. You trade your still? Your legacy's dripping through that copper coil. Rusty kicked aside a crate of flour. We're down 2 fingers already, old-timer. Might as well lose 2 souls for a lifetime supply. Before Earl could call, hold on, Glory grabbed 2 mason jars. I volunteer Rusty and me, she said, flinging a jar. Both souls for the show. Rusty gaped. Glory? She twisted the jar's lid. We're adult enough to sign away 2 souls if it saves this operation. Stansbury's laughter rattled the rafters. Brave or stupid, he reached inside Ryan's mash and poured the glowing spirit into the jars. Each swig echoed with hollow laughter, like gulping wind in an empty room. Rusty staggered, then made a face. Tastes like Barney Rubble's bath water, Glory choked, an old man's regret. Stansbury nodded. Your souls, now leased till next moon. He tipped his hat and vanished, leaving only swirls of blue mist and faint Sazerac notes. Silence fell. Glory and Rusty blinked at each other. Earl wiped sweat from his brow. Did we officially ghosted? Tom said, rubbing his temples. From outside, a loud thud echoed, like a truck slanting into the cabin's wall. Cameras swung outward to catch an old, rusted pickup sliding downhill into view. Its engine idled, but no one sat inside. The headlights flickered. Once. Twice. Off. Glory squeaked, nearly dropping her mason jar. What the actual hell? Rusty raised his empty jar. Free refills? Coming soon? Earl grabbed a sledgehammer from a corner. Stay inside. Keep cameras rolling. We do not need Stansbury's spawn picking us off one by one. Tom dashed outside and flung open the door. The pickup sat silent, empty seatbelts flapping in the wind. The tailgate was down. Inside lay a single bottle bearing Earl's label. Mini Gat Moonshine, batch 113. Glory peered over his shoulder. We didn't leave this, did we? Rusty turned pale. We left the label blank for haunted or not. They stared at the bottle. Clear glass, copper still's reflection in moonlight, and a small, filthy label that read, Enjoy, Stansbury. Inside the cabin, Earl's phone pinged. Live chat exploded. Ghost refund. I need that haunted moonshine. Is partnership available? Rusty stared at the bottle. We still have 2 souls left, right? Glory laughed hysterically. I think we still have our licenses. Stansbury's ghost chuckled outside, then whispered in Earl's ear. Now, about the still. And the cabin erupted in terrified laughter as midnight struck. Chapter 3. Spirits Both Kinds. Dawn crept through the broken shutters of the Stansbury cabin, illuminating a scene equal parts absurd and terrifying. Glory Jenkins lay flat on her back, clutching a half-empty jar of haunted moonshine to her chest. Rusty McCoy knelt beside her, pale and trembling, the flamethrower lighter still smoking, dropping from his slack fingers. Earl Two Fingers Thompson squinted at the slender bottle labeled Minigat Moonshine Batch 113, wondering if he could distill a way out of this mess. Tom Bradley, ever the pragmatist, was already at work resealing the barricaded door with spare lumber, every nail driven, accompanied by a whispered prayer. Tyler Newen furiously tapped at his phone, assembling the night's live stream footage into what he optimistically called proof. Rachel Slaughter, sporting yesterday's romper and potent dark circles, was busy fact-checking ghost myths on her Instagram story. "Okay," Earl said, clearing his throat. "We made a cosmic deal, 2 souls for unlimited haunted moonshine supply. Now we gotta collect." He tossed Rusty the last jar of green mash. "Here." Rusty blinked. "You want me to—" "For the good of Minigot." Earl's tone grew grim. "Grab your jar and drink. Last call." Rusty took a shaky breath, popped the lid, and downed the mash in one go. His face contorted through every expression known to man. Glee, horror, regret, and finally a slow blinking acceptance that evaporated into thin air. At that moment, Glory sat up. "Wait, Rusty? How do you feel?" Rusty leaned forward, as if trying to locate his last nerve. Then he grinned wickedly. "I feel like I can taste the future. And it's spent." Tom slammed a board across the window. "Perfect. 2 souls down. Unlimited deal pending. Stansbury's going to show up any second to collect the still." As if on cue, a deep voice echoed through the battered walls. "And a fine still it is." Old Man Stansbury's ghost drifted into the cabin, face ghost white, but cheeks flushed with what looked suspiciously like moonshine on the breath. His top hat was cocked at a rakish angle. "For the bargain's fulfillment," he intoned, "I claim the heart of your operation." He pointed a skeletal finger at the copper still, steam drifting from its flasks. "Your still becomes mine." Earl gulped. "You can't have the still." Stansbury's grin was ancient and ghoulish. "I can, and I will. 2 souls for a still. Poor exchange." He floated closer. "Unless—" Glory, ever quick with marketing spins, perked up. "Unless we give you something better?" Stansbury paused. "Unlistening." "We'll throw in publicity," Glory blurted. "People will flock to see your haunted still. Big, no, huge, which means more brood souls, sales. All you have to do is let us keep the copper pot." She jabbed a thumb at Earl's still, then at herself. "We'll do the live stream, get hashtags trending. Ghost of Stansbury, haunted hooch." Stansbury's hollow laugh rattled like bones. "Earthly hashtags. Charming. But I enjoy a handshake deal. Flesh and blood, not digits on a screen." Rusty plopped onto a battered stool, face sweating. "We need Plan B." Tyler finally cleared his phone's cache and thrust it forward. "Real-time viral analytics. Our live stream numbers have doubled. We're trending worldwide. Potential investors already DMing for product placement. We get sponsored. Your ghost gets global fame, and we keep the still. Win-win."
Stansbury eyed the phone.
Global fame, artisanal, haunted moonshine. Intriguing. He stroked his phantom beard. "But what about the souls? Rusties and Glories. I already have those contracts." Glory and Rusty exchanged a panicked glance.
Rusty whispered, "I feel empty." Glory squeezed his arm. "We'll fix it." Stansbury tapped a spectral fingernail. "One final choice. Give me your still, or I take your souls back, and this time, permanently." Earl swallowed his fear and stepped forward. "What if we forge a temporary contract? You get the still for 58 minutes, then we do a ceremonial return." Stansbury's eyes glowed. "You'd bind a ghost with mortal parchment?" Glory whipped out her pocket notebook, scratchily scribbled lawyerly clauses between doodles of bat silhouettes. "Here, in consideration of 30-day promotional rights, the still shall be returned upon airing the final live stream at midnight September 30th, 2025, under penalty of 2 additional souls." Stansbury examined the note, drifting closer to read. "Your penmanship. Artful," Glory said sweetly. "Haunted, even." He chuckled, the sound like wind through empty tombs. "Very well. A contract is a contract." He placed a ghostly hand on the copper still, and it trembled as if alive. "The still is mine for tonight's service. Brew well, mortals." Rusty lurched forward. "Hey, pal!" Stansbury flipped him an ephemeral cigarette. "Save your fire. I shall be in the rafters tonight, enjoying your work." With a gust of icy wind, Stansbury vanished, leaving only a cold draft and the faint scent of peaches in the air. They stared at the still, blinking. "Guess we're moonshiners for ghosts now," Rusty muttered. Earl placed a hand on the still's cooling copper. "Time to brew the biggest batch of our lives." Chapter 4. Hall at Midnight. The cabin's chaos hit peak pitch as the sun dipped below the hollow rock ridge. Earl Two Fingers Thompson and his ragtag crew, rusted, rattled, and running on triple-strength coffee, raced the clock to finish the haunted brew before Stansbury's ghostly takeover at midnight. Midnight Moonshine, batch 1912. My namers, sad and gleaming copper, sweat drifting like spirits along the mash kettles. Glory Jenkins quizzed her phone's view count, 75,000 live viewers and climbing. Rusty McCoy balanced on a stool, flamethrower lighter in hand, practicing atmospheric flares while clutching his ghost-leased soul. Tom Bradley monitored the still's pressure gauge. "If this thing hits 300 psi, we're toast, along with half of Appalachia." Tyler Nguyen had uploaded 5 teaser clips, one featuring Rachel Slaughter nearly tripping over a ratty rocking chair, and was drafting the Haunted Launch press release. Above them, the rafters creaked. A pale hand pressed against the wood planks, and Old Man Stansbury's spectral top hat bobbed into view. His ghostly grin beamed as he surveyed the mayhem. "Nearly time, moonshiners," he intoned. His voice echoed through the rafters like a drunk uncle on karaoke night. "One last chance to honor our bargain." Earl swallowed. "We're on schedule," he said, trying to sound confident. "Full brew by 11:55, distillation by 11:59. Glory held up her phone. "Views want a taste test. Should we do a live shot for him?" Rusty raised the flamethrower lighter. "Better make it quick. Don't want to keep the ghost waiting." Stansbury drifted down, cane tapping. "Here's the twist. You craft drinkable hooch that mortals can sip, or I take the still and turn it into my eternal vat of sorrow." His eyes gleamed. Tick, tock. 11:50 p.m. They fired up the mash flames. Earl eyed the proofing column as steam hissed. "Pressure good," he shouted. "We're on target." Suddenly, the still's valve clanged open, unleashing a spray of neon green moonshine that coated Tom's boots. The phantom hand from above flicked the regulator. Rusty cursed. "Ghost sabotage!" He lit a flare with his lighter, dancing it under the column to restore flow. The cabin lit up like a supernatural bonfire, sparks drifting in the swirling steam. Glory seized the moment. "Drink test, live!" She grabbed a flask, raised it to the cameras, then took a swig.
Her face puckered, eyes widened. She nearly swallowed her tongue. I taste victory! The live stream exploded. Oh my God, she's alive! Where do I buy this? Next level booze. Earl passed out 10 tiny tasting cups. One by one, they sipped. Rusty, Tom, Tyler, and a teary-eyed Rachel. Their faces went from shock to delight. It's sweet! Otto gasped. He was the local goat farmer live streaming via satellite. Peppery! Rachel squealed, posting a boomerang of her peppy hiccups. Stansberry hovered, arms crossed. Impressive. You've met the modal challenge. 11:58 p.m. The final distillate hissed through the condenser. Earl sealed the last barrel and placed a "Property of Minigat Moonshine" tag on it. Stansberry's grin faltered. You did it. He floated down, his phantom hat streaking with moonshine vapor. Your souls. The crowd in the cabin held its breath. Stansberry sighed, tipping his hat. I concede. The still is yours. He gestured to the copper vat. But remember, souls on loan. Eh? At that moment, the cabin's battered door slammed open. In stormed Old Man Stansberry, alive and heavily sunburned, his top hat replaced by a farmer's straw hat, his smiling face the spitting image of the ghost. Hey! Y'all hear about this moonshine? He boomed. Minigat's going national! The real Stansberry ghost spun, spectral jaw dropping. The mortal Stansberry, disgruntled descendant and retired tax assessor, brandished a confiscation notice. Government's taking that still for emergency flood relief. Glory raised an eyebrow. 2 Stansberries? That's confusing. Rusty slapped the mortal Stansberry's shoulder. You gotta put it in writing, pal. The ghost and the human stared at each other, then at the roaring cameras. A bead of spectral sweat dropped from the ghost's brow. Guess we both lose, the ghost muttered, floating backward through the wall. The mortal Stansberry blinked. Government protocol, sorry folks. He extended the confiscation notice. Sign this and you get a land use permit and federal funding.
Midnight. Earl and Glory signed with pens. Com snapped photos. Kyler uploaded documents. Rusty toasted with the final tasting cup. They raised their glasses to 2 Stansberries, one corporeal, one ethereal, and took victorious sips. The cameras caught every moment. #haunted still legal trended worldwide. Investors called. Distributors lined up. Minigat Moonshine soared from rickety cabin to celebrity status brand. As dawn broke over Hollow Rock, Earl looked at his friends and smiled. We sold souls, banished ghosts, made moonshine legend. Who says y'all can't mix business with pleasure? Rusty grinned, flamethrower lighter theatrically raised. One more shot. On the house? Glory laughed, raising her flask. Sure, so long as the house is haunted. They clinked flasks, laughter echoing through the once haunted cabin. A fitting finale to their wildest, most spirited adventure.